Hey guys, and welcome to another video. So today I have got for you a very special Afol Q&A. I'm quite excited about this actually. I know I probably don't look very excited, but I'm quite excited about it. So I met this guy through joining a LUG, which is a LEGO user group, the Northern Brickworks LEGO user group, and he turns out that this guy is the first ever winner of LEGO Masters UK. So some of you guys who are Afols and are aware of the LEGO Masters UK probably might recognise this guy, but yeah, he's kindly offered to do an Afol Q&A with me. I'm going to grill him on all things LEGO Masters as well as about everything else to do with MOCs, LEGO sets, etc. And yeah, so I'm gonna get into it now. Hope you enjoy the video, and I will catch you guys later. Cheers guys, bye. Okay guys, hiya, welcome to another video, and today I've got a very special Afol Q&A for you. So I'd like to welcome Nathan Diaz. Hello Nathan.
We're all right.
So some of you might recognise Nathan. He is the, along with Steve Guiness, the first ever winner of LEGO Masters UK. So I'm really excited to be able to do an Afol Q&A with Nathan.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, hi, afternoon Nathan, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Nice afternoon, really. Shame about the weather, but yeah, it's good.
Are you looking forward to this?
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to this. Long time since I've been interviewed for anything, so.
Cool. Okay, so well, let's get cracking with the questions then. Hopefully these won't be too taxing, and I won't overstep my mark with any of them. So
that's all right.
Okay, so the first question I've got for you then is, and this is gonna tax your brain. How long have you been in Afol?
Since I can put a date on this, since I was 19.
Oh wow! So, literally as you were an adult.
Literally as I was an adult. So I got told at quite a young age, probably about 11 or 12, that I was too old for Lego. Looking back now, I think more truth of it was my parents had split up and we didn't really have the money for Lego. So that's probably more the truth of it. But in my head, I was too old for it, so that was fine. When I went to uni, though, I had to have a meeting with one of my lecturers. He was the head of the course at the university. The meeting went all right, which was great. But as I stood up to go out of the lecturer's office, I turned around and saw some lovely shelves on his wall, and they were just filled with Lego models. And something suddenly clicked in my head that this guy's a proper grown-up and he's allowed to like Lego. So surely I can like Lego, and actually I'm not too old for it. I actually went via, I think, Argos on the way back to my student digs that evening and bought myself a Lego set. Nice. And the rest is history.
Can you remember what that Lego set was?
I can't. I think it was just a quite generic city police van, I think. But it sort of reignited it and ended up spending quite a bit of my student loan and my student job money on Lego.
Yeah, the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah.
So yeah, so obviously that was actually question number 5 about which Lego set was it your first bought. So that's good. We've killed 2 birds with 1 stone there. So what do your family and friends think about you being in Afol?
Well, they used to sort of take the mick a bit. They used to think it was quite funny. But then when I went on to win LEGO Masters with Steve, that kind of changed, and they saw it in a different light and thought, you know what? Actually, this is worth something. I don't think they'd appreciated what actually goes into it and how much it takes doing a mark and some of my work. I don't think they'd bothered to really look into it. They just thought, oh, he's an adult who plays with kids' toys. He's a big kid, which is an easy thought to have, really, isn't it? But if you give the time and you look into the Afol community and you look how much fantastic work there is out there and the amount of skill and talent and time that goes into some of the things that gets produced in this community, you can appreciate it more. And I think LEGO Masters really highlighted that for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And also made it a bit more, well, it made it acceptable for me personally to be an Afol, and it made it a lot more acceptable. Can't even speak. A lot more acceptable for more Afols to leave their dark ages and like Lego again. And
yeah.
Well, we're 3 years down the line now. We've got a whole 18+ range coming out with Lego, with so many fantastic sets we're already seeing. So perhaps in my own little way, I've helped influence Lego, or at least the TV program that I was on has helped influence Lego in that way.
Cool. Okie dokes. I kind of know the answer to the next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway because I want to hear it from your mouth, so to speak.
Go on.
So, are you a member of a LUG, which for the viewers who don't know what a LUG is, stands for Lego User Group?
Well, I'm just going to hold this up here. I am, in fact, a member of several lugs, actually. I am in several lugs, but I do have a bit of a soft foot spot for Northern Brickworks, which I coincidentally happen to be chairman of currently. I should say chair of currently. It's my favourite lug. It has been for several years now, so that's why I sort of took on some roles with Northern Brickworks. They're a great bunch of people, and currently it's free to join. So, yeah,
guys, join Northern Brickworks. Okay, so
thanks for the plug.
what as a member of Northern Brickworks, and obviously also other several lugs, what do you personally get out of being a member, apart from the fact that you're chairman of one of them? But generally, personally, what do you get out of it? What's
generally speaking, I mean, it's the same for almost any lug. The best bits are the camaraderie. You get to meet lots of people who share the same hobby, the same passions that you share. And even though some of us may be very specific in what Lego we like, you can always find somebody who shares that like with you. And it just means that you've got this community of like-minded people. We're sharing this interest. We can talk about it quite freely. It's not the same generic questions that you have with your mates when you meet up. It's specific to the hobby that you're in. It also means that you can meet people if you want to do things like collaborative builds, or you want to share some ideas. If you're stuck for inspiration, you need a tip on how you might do something with your Lego. If you're stuck with how you're going to make a mock come to life, somebody may have tried something similar in the past and give you some advice that way. And it's just a great way of sharing ideas and sharing expertise and making new friends who share the same passion as you. And as I say, that is true for any lug. I know that I'm biased towards one in particular, but join a lug that's local to you. Join one that you may already have a few friends in. They're all brilliant in their own ways. It's just that with everything, everyone's got their personal favourites.
Yeah. I think for me it was like you mentioned earlier about coming out of the dark ages. It was like taking me from like being a cupboard Lego fan to actually I'm an Afol, and there's a whole bunch of other Afols, and
this is it. And suddenly the world it opens its doors, and you find that actually you're not just that strange person who still enjoys building blocks even though you're now in your mid-30s. You are part of a massive community that's out there that's thriving and has got so much talent in it and so many lovely, friendly people.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely agree with that one. So I'm going to talk a bit about said hobby. Do you have a go-to Lego theme? And if you do, why would you go to that Lego theme?
Go-to Lego theme is a bit difficult, really. It sort of changes each year. So end of last year, start of this year, I was looking at sort of Harry Potter and Jurassic World. But before that, I didn't really do much with the licensed stuff. Creator is always steadfast for me. I like it because you see loads of new techniques, and also you're getting a lot of bricks for your money because you're not paying for a license. So Creator 3-in-1, Creator Expert, rest in peace, are usually my steadfast things. The ones where I can learn new skills and new techniques from buying a model, which I think is great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so what is, if you have one, what is one Lego set you regret buying and why?
Ooh, regret buying. I'm just looking at a shelf of things that I have not yet built.
Just look for Star Wars. Just look for Star Wars.
Anything Star Wars, yeah. But I don't buy Star Wars because I've got grey bricks. Oh, I'm trying to think. Possibly. There are several that I could put in this category, to be honest. I'm looking at the shelf and I'm pained to say it because I am a science teacher, but at the minute, it's the lunar landing set.
All right.
I felt like I really had to have it because I teach science and I love space, an actual science rather than science fiction space. And I bought it on the day it came out so that it could get the free patch to wear, and it's just sat on a shelf gathering dust. I've never built it. It's never been out of the box. The box is still sealed. So that's, what, 80 quid that's just sat there, which, yeah. But I could probably say that for quite a few sets.
Just dotted around, just gathering dust.
Yeah.
Okay, dokes. Do you have a favourite Lego set? And if you do, why is it your favourite?
Favorite Lego set is a tough question. Very tough. I've got a couple. One is from the 90s. I'm just thinking if I can locate it. I don't think I can currently. But the first set I remember being bought by my granddad was a fishing boat from the mid-90s, early 90s. And I recently bought that on eBay because I saw it on there and thought I'd have to have it for the nostalgia.
Yeah.
And then the other one was bought for me by my now wife, Zoe. And that is the Medieval Market Village, which was just a lovely set that at its time was probably aimed more towards Afols, even though there wasn't a lot of stuff aimed for Afols at that point. And it's a stunning set. It's beautiful to look at. It's got loads of lovely little techniques, and I think it's aged really well. To say it's probably at least 10 years old now, I'd say it would probably still stand up against a lot of sets that would come out now. So I think it's a nice all-round set, and if you can get it, it still doesn't go for much more now than what it went for before. The set that came after that, the sort of sequel to that set, was the Village Mill Raid, which had the goats in it. So that goes for stupid amount of money because it had the goats in it.
Okay.
Whereas there wasn't really anything exclusive in the Market Village.
Yeah. What theme was that?
It was Castle or Kingdoms.
Was it? Right. I must admit, I've not come...
Castle or Kingdoms.
Never mind. I don't think I've actually come across that one, so I might have to look that one up afterwards.
It's worth having a look at. It's very pretty and would work quite well in the village for the Northern Brickworks Project Support Project.
Yes. I'll definitely look it up. Okay. Now, I kind of know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So, do you build mocks? Which, again, for our viewers, stands for my own creation. And if you do, can you remember the first ever mock that you built?
Oh, I do build mocks. I definitely build mocks. Otherwise, I would have not got through the first audition or even to the audition of Lego Masters. First mock is a tough question, to be honest, because obviously, as a kid, I would have mocked quite a lot without knowing it, just building stuff out of the Lego box. The first major sort of large-scale mock that I built, though, was a scout camp, which I built purposely for my first Lego show, which was Brick Live Birmingham 2015.
Right.
So I signed up for that show before I'd even joined a lug. That show was where I met Steve Guiness, so that show's got a lot of memories for me. It was really nice. But yeah, I built a scout camp along with my wife, Zoe, just with the idea of I needed to build something that I know about, something that I could make look good, because I had to be good enough to get into that show.
Yeah.
And just because it was my first show, it was fantastic. The amount of comments that I got off of the back of it meant that I'm doing the right thing here. I've built large scale for the first ever time, and I loved it. It was great. I still have parts of it in boxes in storage somewhere.
Wow, really? I'll have to make a resurrection.
Quite possibly, but yeah, so that was, as I say, 2015, that one. So it was only 5 years ago that I really seriously started mocking.
Right, cool. Okay, so sticking with the theme of mocks, what has been your favourite mock to build and why?
It's got to be, for probably quite obvious reasons, the lovely 2 metre by 2 metre display that myself and Steve Guiness made for the final of Lego Masters. It is a shame we did not get to keep it, but what we achieved in 10 days, I'm really super proud of. We set the bar quite high, I think, by building 2 life-size human beings out of Lego. Steve's typewriter, obviously, we made in there, and now Steve's managed to take it to ideas, and that's going to get made to a real set, so that's incredible.
Yeah. Well done, Steve.
Fantastic job, Steve. We're so proud of you, man. Well done. And the only thing that I've managed to recreate from it was the head.
Ah, cool.
Which the front looks about the same. The back, I didn't get enough photos of, so that's different. But we weren't allowed to take photos at the time, so I'm getting it off stills and things off the TV.
No, that's a shame.
But I had to have a part of it to
absolutely
remember that by.
So did you not get to keep anything from the show at all?
No, we didn't get to keep anything, sadly, which is upsetting, but they're making a TV show.
Absolutely. So, you've got memories.
The bricks got used from ours into series 2, sadly. So
Yeah, cool. Anyway, well, we'll come on to the Lego Masters in a little while. I've got a few questions around that. Yeah, so, okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself. So what do you, again, I already know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So what do you do for a day job?
for a day job, I am a science teacher. Part-time, I must say nowadays. I'm currently part-time because I'm looking after my son, who is currently 21 months old.
Oh, all right, very good, very good. I didn't know
So
that. That's something I didn't know. See, I've learned something.
There you go, yeah.
So does Lego play any part in your day job?
It does a little. I try and get Lego into my lessons wherever I can. All the kids at school know that I am a bit of a addict when it comes to Lego. So if I can get it into lessons, I will try and use it. I also run a Lego club at the school as well, so it works out quite well. For example, chemistry teachers, if you're listening out there, if you're looking at crystal formation, if you give the children in your class a bunch of Lego bricks and you give them 10 seconds to make something, and it just has to be a clump of Lego bricks, they'll make something that'll be quite small. You then give them a full minute to make something, and it will, of course, be bigger. So you can explain to them that as crystals form, if they form when it's cold, they'll form quickly, so they form small because they've cooled down much quicker. If the crystals have formed and it was warm, you'll make bigger crystals because they formed over a longer time. So if we find big crystals, it means it cooled down in a warmer climate. If we find small crystals, it's in a smaller climate. Yeah. And it's just one of the ways that we use Lego in the classroom to get ideas across to the kids.
Oh, great. It is a great teaching tool, I must admit. Hence the Lego Dacta range, as we both know.
Oh, yes.
About that. So how many hours a week do you reckon you spend, I'm not going to say playing with Lego or building Lego, but just with Lego?
Honest answer is not as much as I'd like, because most of the time that I'm at home, I am looking after Ned, which is amazing, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I do feel like I would like to be in the Lego room building stuff. But of course, I can't really bring a toddler in here because either he will wreck the place or he'll eat the Lego and I'll be on the way to A&E.
Yeah, either way, not a good ending.
No.
Okay, dokes. Right, we're going to move on to Lego Masters now, because this is the bit I'm really intrigued about, I must admit. Obviously, I watched the show, and at the time I didn't know you, so it's a pleasure to actually get to know you.
Oh, thank you very much.
So, how did you end up kind of on the show? You know, what was the process? How did you apply, and what was the story around that?
First thing we saw was there were some adverts going around on Facebook, so they used social media to try and get into the Afol community, and myself and Steve joked about it, and then my wife said, "Why are you joking about it? You may as well give it a go. What's the worst that could happen?" So me and Steve agreed that we would fill out an application form. We filled the application form in, we sent it off. I'm trying to think what happened next. After that, I think we got a phone call to give us an interview over the phone. We then had to do an interview over Skype. After that, we went to our first auditions in London, which was absolutely fantastic. Great day. Got to meet Nathan Sawaya, who is like my Lego hero. So that was really lovely. And I think Justin Ramsden may have been there as well, which is really cool because he's one of my favorite designers. We managed to get through that audition. We got a phone call telling us we got through that audition, went then to the second audition. And after the second audition, we had to go for basically a psychoanalysis test, which is nice, just to make sure that we could cope with the roller coaster that is a TV series. We had to go see a psychiatrist down in the offices in London, which they told us a little white lie. They said that we would have to take the clothes down that we'd used for the auditions, because we have to wear the same clothes at both auditions to make it look like it was one day. We had to take those clothes down because apparently they did do some pickups that they'd forgotten to ask some questions about.
Okay.
They were running really late with the psychiatrist, so we ended up having to go without filming any extra bits because we would miss our trains home if not. And we then waited another few weeks before we actually found out we were on the show, and it was just via a phone call. It turned out that we were meant to have been told on the day we were down with the psychiatrist. That's why they wanted to take the clothes with us, but because they were running late, we were then left in limbo for another 2 or 3 weeks until we actually found out we were on.
Yeah. Cool.
Which is slightly annoying when you know about it, but
yeah. It does sound like you had to jump quite a few hoops to get
there.
Quite
a long process.
Yeah,
I think they wanted to sort of make sure that you knew what you were on about. and also that you actually knew the people that you were auditioning with.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people online for this one and for the American one basically posting, asking if anybody wanted to be their partner to audition for Lego
Ah, I see,
Masters,
right, yeah.
which I know in Series 2 of the UK one they did put a couple of people together to make a pair, but I don't think it works as well if you hadn't built anything together before. So me and Steve had already built a large-scale mock. We did a whole school that we made for Bricktastic in 2016. So we'd done at least one large-scale mock together, so we knew that we could build with each other and make it work out. So
Yeah.
I think that helped.
Good, cool. Okay, so did you find the whole experience, and I'm guessing I'm going to include the auditions as well as obviously the shows themselves, enjoyable or stressful? And I'm going to say
lie, it was both. It was both.
Right.
I mean, it can be stressful when you've got, like, I'm not going to ruin any TV magic, but if they say you've got 12 hours to build something, you genuinely do have only 12 hours to build something. There's no extensions on that. You've got 12 hours. However, those 12 hours are not one 12-hour slot in a day. That 12 hours might be over 3 days.
I see, yeah.
But because you've only got 12 hours and they don't stop the clock to ask you questions or anything, if you've got a producer coming up and asking you questions with the camera and you say something slightly wrong or you don't give the answer in the way that they want, they'll then ask you again and again. So to answer one question might take 3 or 4 minutes, which when you've only got so much amount of time left to finish your build, and of course they want to ask you more questions as the time gets further down because you've built more and they can see more about it.
Yeah,
that can get quite stressful. For example, because in the UK no TV program can be an advert for a product, so even though we're on a show called Lego Masters and it was definitely all about Lego, they could only actually mention the word Lego in an hour's program 4 times.
Wow.
So if we had to answer any questions, we weren't allowed to say Lego to make sure that they could get just 4 times in the whole thing. So you'd be speaking about this, you might be talking for 30 seconds, giving a long spiel of a great answer, and then they'll go, "Sorry, Nate, could you do that again? But this time, just say building blocks instead of Lego." And of course, that might take 3 or 4 times. So if you watch TV on something like The Apprentice or MasterChef, that'll be very similar. If someone seems a little bit less enthusiastic about their answer than you might expect them to, it's probably because they've been asked several times for it. It didn't help that we weren't in a TV studio. For Series 1, we were in a dance studio. So, of course, it had a sprung floor. So every time a camera went past, your table did that.
Oh, no.
And, of course, you're trying to build Lego on it. That's not handy. So every time you see a camera roll, you just have to hold the Lego and hope for the best. And then let it get past. And it's all taken away from your very short amount of time that you've got left.
Wow, there's so much goes into it. So much more goes into it than I would have ever.
It was incredible. The whole process probably took us about 6 months because we could only film at weekends or in school holidays because there were children involved. It was, I think, 6 months from start to finish.
Wow, amazing. Okay, so what was one, if there was one, positive thing that you took away from the whole experience?
To be fair, there were lots of positive experience. I think getting to know Steve even better, we became really good friends out of the back of this. We were already friends beforehand, but because we'd been through so much together, that was incredible. Also, just having that fantastic opportunity, because I think we'd got like 500,000 bricks to build with that were all sorted. And I know this sounds stupid, but you were just in a room where the only thing you could do was build. So it made you, I don't know, it made me anyway build stuff that was of a higher standard than I ever could build, because you're not distracted to pop off and get a drink. You can't do that. You're being filmed. You're not distracted to pop on your phone and check Facebook or Instagram. You're literally in a room without your phone, without any distractions. You've got a beautiful amount of bricks. You've got one of your best mates there who's building with you. And it's just this perfect situation, apart from maybe the cameras and the sweltering heat, where you can just build and get on with it. And it's absolutely brilliant.
Awesome. Okay, so on the flip side then, what was the one, again, if there was one, what was the worst thing about doing the show?
Oh, it's a tough one.
I guess you got to keep your answers politically correct here as well.
Yeah. There were several things that upset me. So for one, like not being able to keep our creations, which you can understand. We don't own the Lego. We've just used it. We've borrowed it to make something. It would have been nice to be able to keep some of the things we made. The lights were horrible. Of course, as we said, it was a dance studio. It wasn't a TV studio, so it wasn't designed to have hundreds of lights in there and cameras in there all making heat. So a few weeks into filming, they managed to get some air conditioning for us, but it was too loud, so we couldn't actually have the air conditioning on when they were filming. So we had to have a break sort of every half an hour just to get some cool air into there, which was nice that they did that, but also quite annoying because you're dealing with this sweltering heat, and also you have to, sorry, ruining TV magic again, whenever you're filmed and it's for the same episode, you need to be wearing the same clothes. And you do a walk-in shot, so you'll notice in the first episode I'm wearing a t-shirt and a hoodie, which is the worst thing I could have done, because that meant that for the whole of episode 1, which was 3 or 4 days filming in that studio, I had to have a hoodie on, because we'd filmed us walking in with a hoodie and they'd got footage of me wearing a hoodie. So even though it was absolutely boiling and I was moving around and building the stuff and getting quite energetic anyway, I was sweating buckets. It was not great. And the other bit was, it was always a bit of an emotional roller coaster when you got judged. So at the end of each episode, when Matthew would come up with the celebrity judge as well, you don't see this on TV because they want to create a narrative. But we had to, for every build we got, have 3 positives and 3 negatives. And quite often our positives were quite generic positives and then some really picky negatives, which we really took to heart and was properly upsetting. And our negatives always, I think it was because it's about you and it's personal, our negatives always felt really negative compared to everybody else's negatives. So almost every week, me and Steve thought we were going home. And especially after the challenge where it was the children telling us the story, we were 100% certain that we were the ones going home at that point, and we were lucky enough to get through. Of course, on TV, because they want to create that narrative, if you're going to be you want to keep an air of sort of intrigue about who's going in, who's staying in, who's going out, but they only seem to show mine and Steve's positive comments. So you at home watching as a viewer thought, yeah, they're going to get through because they're doing really well. They've got all these positive comments.
Yeah.
But actually, some of our builds have been ripped to shreds. But of course, you didn't see that because they chose not to show that bit to you.
Yeah, the magic of TV editing, as they say.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, all right then. So the $6 million question: given the chance, would you do it again?
I'm gonna bow out and say no, because I've got the trophy, and if I went for it again, I might not win again. I've seen what's out there in the Afol community, and the builders are amazing. I mean, it's a different situation because you're not sat at home relaxing, doing it over the course of months. You're under lights and you're under pressure. So I might still be able to hold my own, but I wouldn't want to bet the title on it. So
no, bow out when you're on top.
Exactly. It's safer that way, isn't it? I'd love the experience again, but maybe without it being a competition.
Yeah, I get that. I must admit, I expected you to say the other. I'd say yes, you would do, but given everything,
I'd love to be a part of it again, but I might lose the title.
Yeah, but I think given what you've just said about, what you don't see behind the cameras, as it were, I can understand why.
And also, if I had to give up another 6 months of my school holidays and weekends now that I've got a child, probably not.
It won't work, would it? No.
No, if he was a few years older, yes, but while he's a toddler, I don't want to miss that much time with him.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple of questions left. So this one's kind of a bit random considering we were talking about Lego Masters, but hey ho. Can you tell me a funny incident where Lego was involved?
Ooh.
Yeah, this is going to tax your memory.
I don't know.
Something that made you, laugh uncontrollably or cry laughing or, something.
There was. Northern Brickworks did a show at Southport Air Show a few years ago. And as part of it, we did a collaborative airport, and it was incredible. We had a beautiful airport. It was tables and tables worth. Robert Clarkson made a beautiful airport building. I made what could only be described as the most boring muck I've ever made, because I made the multi-story car park for the airport. But Jim Walsh, who is the communications secretary for Northern Brickworks, made the control tower. And we gave him several comments that his control tower wasn't tall enough. In fact, it was only about as tall as the terminal building. So we sort of took it upon ourselves as a group of Afols that every time Jim left the tent that we were displaying in, we would add a few bricks to his control tower,
Make it taller.
and make it taller each time he left. And by the end of the second day, without exaggerating, I think his control tower must have been about 8 foot on top of a 2.5 foot table. So it was just ridiculous. And it got to the point where we had to take it down in case it toppled over and hit somebody. But it was just...
Did he notice?
It took him a long while to notice. It probably got to at least twice its actual height before he noticed. It possibly helped that we did things like build a bridge from his watchtower to the terminal building. I think at that point he may have noticed.
Right.
But it took him, because we only did it sort of a layer of bricks or 2 layers of bricks at a time, it took him quite a while to notice.
the effect of gradual building.
I think he took it quite well, because he then, at the end of the weekend, said, well, this is my mock, so all these bricks are now mine, and managed to gain quite a lot of 2x4s from that.
Oh, bless him. Oh, dear. Okay, no, it's last question then, Nathan. Obviously, we talked about lugs and being an Afol and being a member of a lug. So if there are any viewers watching this video, what advice would you give them if they were considering A, becoming an Afol, and B, potentially joining a lug?
If you're considering becoming an Afol, do it. I mean, anyone can call themselves an Afol. It doesn't matter what size your collection is. If you enjoy putting together a couple of bricks or collecting some minifigures, do it. You're an Afol. You're already an Afol. Joining a lug, do it once again. I mean, most lugs you have to pay for, but it's a very small fee. You're looking at £10 or £12 for a full year. So at most, it's £1 a month to be a member of one of these things. Northern Brickworks is free, but we might not be in the right geographical area for you. We cover the north of the UK. If you don't live in the north of the UK, it's going to be difficult to get to meets or some of our events. So join one that's local to you and just do it. I mean, some of the lugs people might think are a bit clicky, but that's because you're from the outside. If as soon as you are in the inside, you'll see that they're not clicky. They're lovely people who share the same passion as you. So yeah, just go ahead, join a lug. And
how would a viewer go about
that? Probably do a Google search or look on Facebook. There is a fantastic website from Lego. So I'm trying to think what it's called now. It's done by the Lego Ambassador Network, but it's got a map of the world where all the lugs are located. But if you want to join Northern Brickworks, go to this website, mblug.org.uk/join-us.
Very good. Another pun.
But yeah, right. If you look online, you'll find lugs for you. So there are lugs for the Midlands, lugs for London, lugs for the South. There's one lug for the whole of the UK. There's one for the North East. There's one for Scotland. There's one for the whole of Ireland, including the Republic of and Northern Ireland. So, and in fact, all over the world, I'm not sure who's going to be watching this YouTube clip. There are lugs in every country around the world that I know of.
Yeah.
Maybe not places like Cuba or North Korea, but most countries have got some lugs.
Yeah, yeah. So what I'll do is, guys, I will put a link in the comments below to Northern Brickworks, as has just been kindly shown by Nathan, and also I'll also dig out the link that Nathan's just been talking about.
I'll try and find it for you.
Ambassador Network, and I'll put that in there as well. So if you do want to join a lug, check those links out. We'd love to have you at Northern Brickworks. I must admit, I have to say, I'm a member of Northern Brickworks. That's how I've ended up being able to interview Nathan. Right, Nathan, thank you very much for your time.
All right.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Lovely, thank you. Yeah.
Good. It was very insightful for me, I must admit. I couldn't wait to get to the Lego Masters questions. And I must admit, I've learned a lot. So, yeah, thank you very much. And guys, I'm going to sign off now. If you like this video, obviously, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. Yeah, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to get the notifications for any new videos that are popped up onto the site. And yeah, all that's left for me to say is thank you very much, Nathan. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will probably see you for a lug meet in the very near future.
See you soon, Chris. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Nathan. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Hey guys, you've been watching Afol Chris. If you like this video, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and please subscribe to my channel. Cheers, guys.